Hi everyone, and welcome to our Friday update. My name's Chris and I'm the Senior Minister at Andover Baptist Church. Today's update is an especially important one and may take a little longer than usual, but please do stick with me because I'm going to be sharing some really important information about our roadmap back to in-person activities and events. Now, the last 12 months have been the most extraordinary period. Wasn't it amazing just a couple of weeks ago to remember a year of live stream Sunday services? It's really difficult to believe that it's been that long. And of course, our Sunday live streams have just been one part of the amazing things that God has led us into in response to this pandemic over the last year. So many people have worked so hard to move church online and to keep us connected and in community with one another. Our children's and youth teams have done so many things to keep our children and youth as connected as they possibly can. Our buddies have done a wonderful job helping and supporting some of the most isolated and vulnerable people. Our Connect groups have been using Zoom and Skype and WhatsApp. They've posted letters and made phone calls to keep people connected. We've enjoyed some amazing prayer gatherings, daily devotions, and social media challenges and posts. And through it all, I think we've seen a strengthening of our ability and our desire to seek God and to hear him speaking to us. And one of the things we've sensed God saying is that we can't simply go back to the same things we were doing before the pandemic. God has been doing a new thing, and we need to keep pursuing that. But of course, we also long to gather together again in person, and the easing of some of the lockdown restrictions here in the UK are beginning to enable that to be possible. But that easing of restrictions looks like it's going to be a long process, and it may still be some time before social distancing is no longer required. Now, last year, when it looked like we might be able to start doing some in-person gatherings again, we set out some key principles that we'd use to guide us in how we might start to regather again in person. Those principles were things like safety, that we could keep people safe, that we would continue to be led by the government guidance, that before we started regathering, we would want to ensure that the quality of what we could offer would be high. And finally, this key principle that our trustees would be the ones to make these key decisions. Now, with all of that in mind, our trustees and staff have been working on a planned roadmap back to in-person gatherings that I want to share with you now. This roadmap tracks the government stages and so is really dependent on those, and so it is subject to change and flexing dependent on what the government are doing with their stages and with how infection rates are doing across the country. Now, when stage 2 of the government's plans start on the 12th of April, we are going to start trialling some in-person gatherings on a Sunday. Our online live stream will continue, as well as all of our online children's and youth work. But we're going to trial what we're calling a live stream congregation. What that means is that up to 30 people will be able to book in to come on a Sunday and be in the main hall whilst our live stream is going on. Now, we want to be really clear about what that will mean, because the vast majority of those who join with us on a Sunday will still be online. It will be the online experience that will be our priority because of that. So we will continue hosting and preaching from our studio in rooms 1 and 2 in our building, but the live worship will be happening in the main hall, and all the content coming from the studio will also be on the big screen in our main hall, so people will be able to see it who are there in person. That trial will help us understand what the experience is like for people. It'll help us understand all the practicalities around how we get people into the building and out of the building safely and so on. And initially, we're going to invite those teams of people who will be serving in the building once we open up in a fuller way. So for the 4 Sundays of that trial, we will only be inviting those people who will be on our teams for in-person gatherings in the future to come and be part of it. So our guest services team, our stewards and welcome people, our children's and youth team, and our trustees who need to assess how all of this goes for making decisions as we go forward. So if you're serving on one of those teams, you'll soon be receiving an email invitation from us to book in for one of those Sundays in that trial if you would like to do so. And there's no pressure, you don't have to. If you aren't ready for it, then that's absolutely fine. Please don't feel under pressure to have to come. Now, during this stage 2 of the government's plans, some children's and youth in-person work may start to happen in a very small way, including some one-to-one meetups and some outdoor activities. That may start to happen. All of our other things will remain online, including our Connect groups. But because the government are allowing groups of 6 people to meet outside, some Connect groups may choose to use that and do that in person outside for up to 6 people. Then our plan is that when the government move to stage 3 of their plans, which currently will be no earlier than the 17th of May, we will move to another step in our roadmap. All of our content will still remain online, but we will also open up that Sunday live stream congregation for anyone who wants to sign up to come. We will assess what our capacity for that will be during our trial, but it may well start at 30, which is what we're doing in the trial. So we'll be inviting people to sign up for no more than one Sunday a month to try to give as many people as possible the opportunity to come. Families with children and young people will be able to come too as a family, but we are saying that children will need to be in school years 3 or above, just because everybody's going to have to sit still and in place for the duration of the live stream. Now, we're incredibly passionate about trying to get some in-person stuff in place at the same time during this stage for our children and young people, all of our children and young people. In many ways, they've been amongst the hardest hit when it comes to engaging with church, so we're really keen to make them a priority. So as well as the live stream congregation, in this stage, we are also hoping to work on a return to in-person children's and youth work in some form. We're working with our children's and youth teams to try to create the same kind of capacity for the children and young people as we have for the adults. So every child and young person will be able to attend something in person at least once a month. Our teams are working on the best plan as to when the best time for that will be and how it can happen safely and well. And we will, of course, be sharing all of those details with you as we work them out. Now, at this stage, Connect groups will also be able to have some in-person gatherings if they want to. At this stage of the government's plan, up to 6 people can meet indoors and up to 30 people outdoors. So provided Connect groups keep to those rules, it would make sense that they can meet in those ways should they want to. But just to reiterate, all of our stuff will also be continuing online during this stage, and some Connect groups may choose to continue to meet online too. Now, during all of this, we'll be constantly reviewing how it's going and asking for feedback, so we can then assess what we do once the government moves to stage 4 of its plans, at the moment scheduled for no earlier than the 21st of June. At that point, we may well increase our capacity for our in-person Sunday congregations, and we may look to enable people to come more frequently. And in July and August, we will conduct a much fuller review to assess how we move forward as we head into September and beyond, ensuring that we keep pressing into what God has been saying about not simply going back to how things were, and pressing into God for what he's saying about how we move forward together as a church community and catch the waves of the new things God is doing and meeting together more frequently in person. I will, of course, keep you updated as we move through all of this, and I really want to encourage you to join us for our next prayer gathering on Thursday, the 22nd of April, online on Zoom, when we'll be praying together and continuing to listen to God together. And if you're a church member, we're having an online annual general meeting on the 28th of April in the evening at 8 o'clock. And so we'll also be talking about these plans there. And if you have any questions or anxieties, please do get in touch and we'll do our very best to answer them for you. Finally, and very quickly, a couple of other things that are coming up in the next few days and weeks. We've been loving the well-being devotions led by Rick Ratzer and Marie Wilds this week. Do check them out on our YouTube channel if you haven't seen them yet. And next week, Alex Pugh is leading our devotions on the theme of Rhythms of Grace. So do, again, go to the YouTube channel to find those devotions as they're posted throughout the week, Monday to Friday next week. This Sunday, on our live stream, we're launching a new series called Aftermath, looking at the aftermath of that first Easter Sunday and how the message of the resurrected Jesus spread by eyewitness accounts of what Jesus had done. So I can't wait. I'm so excited for this new series. I really hope you'll be joining us for that. And then finally, on Saturday, the 24th of April, we're having our next community blessing event. You know that we're passionate about being for Andover and for our local communities. And we heard recently about how many college-age young people, that's 16 to 19-year-olds, in our area are in real need. We were shocked actually by the numbers that there are that are often struggling just to live, often having to sofa surf because they've got no permanent home, going hungry, struggling for clothes and simple necessities. So we want to help. And we're linking up with Andover and Sparsholt College and the Basingstoke College of Technology to do just that. So we're asking all of us to come to the church car park on that Saturday afternoon to drive through and drop off non-perishable food, good quality new or used clothes, and toiletries. And we'll then get those to the colleges who'll be able to share them with the young people who need them. It would be amazing if we could just blow everyone away with our generosity. So please consider what you might be able to do and come and drop it off between 1:30 and 4:30 on Saturday, the 24th of April. Our team are going to be there. We can't wait to wave at you through the car windows and say hi as you drive through and drop stuff off. It'll be a great time to catch up with one another and see each other as we drive through. So please, please come and be generous and bring things to help those college-age students. Now, thanks so much for sticking with me for a longer update today. You all remain in my thoughts and prayers, and I'm starting to get really excited about the prospect of us getting to see one another again in person as we follow this roadmap to our in-person gatherings. So please keep praying that this will all be possible and that we'll be able to work it out safely and well so that we can start seeing one another again. In the meantime, I just want to say God bless, have a great weekend, and really look forward to seeing you on our live stream on Sunday morning.